Oh, that sounded like one of the most eloquent episodes I've ever done. I'll drink to that. I don't know, I'm probably wrong, but yeah, whatever. So, what else happened? Well, spoilers. I don't know about spoilers. Not really spoilers. It's episode 1. Episode 1 of Kenobi. So I mentioned Discord call. I was watching Kenobi with a friend, and yeah, it was. I only had time to watch the first episode, not the second. I'm gonna watch that later today, hopefully. Excuse me. I am very interested. I think it's interesting. Probably okay. So obviously, Kenobi is a very very interesting spot. I mean, there's literally a fucking Jedi that finds Kenobi out of the blue and is just like, "Hey, you gotta help me. We gotta fight." And Kenobi's just, I don't know if I mean, I get the feeling that Kenobi genuinely is sort of defeated and sort of, a defeated and, just broken at the beginning of this. He buried his lightsaber. He's literally just told this Jedi to just give it up. Just give it up. There's no fight. We've lost. There's no reason to do this. He gets contacted by Bail about Leia being kidnapped, and it's like, no, I can't help you. No, I can't. And, from the sound of it, Bail just barely was able to, very much barely able to convince him to help. And, it's just it is a very interesting and place to be in. I think probably, let's see, what else? I really did like Leia's droid. I think they really love designing more and more droids, and that's fine. There ain't nothing wrong with that. But it was cute. I'll give it. I mean, it's got a little buzzsaw attachment. Well, it's out of commission now, I suppose. Very, very interesting droid designs. They also had I think it was the Tri-Wing. I think it was called the Tri-Wing. But they had the actual, unless I'm mistaken, they had the actual ship designed by Porsche in it as a little cameo. I mean, it was a little bit more maybe than a cameo because it was actually spoken, I believe. I'm pretty sure it was the Tri-Wing. I don't know, but it certainly looked like one anyway. But yeah, no, it's yeah, that was a cool inclusion. I think probably the one thing I'm weirded out a little bit by. Okay, so in the Ahsoka book, it takes place, I think, a year or two, maybe a little bit more after the fall of the Jedi. It follows Ahsoka doing stuff. At the end of the book, she meets up with Bail, and she joins the Republic. Or, I'm sorry, she joins the Rebellion, and she starts operating as Fulcrum. In the show, it takes place 10 years later. I think the implication, or I can infer, that Ahsoka is absolutely a part of the Rebellion. The Rebellion is going off well. It's obviously not to the place, Leia's 10 years old. By the time Rebels happens, I think the one or two times Leia showed up, I mean, she was probably 15 at least. So, there's a little time frame for you there. But, yeah, it's, yeah, Ahsoka would absolutely. So Ahsoka would be a good option, probably to look for Leia, aside except for the fact that, well, actually no, she would probably be better. Maybe? No, I don't know. Well, because, like, if Obi-Wan gets caught saving Leia, then that's not going to look good for the Organas. If Ahsoka is caught capturing or rescuing Leia, that's still going to look bad for the Organas. If anything, it'll look worse, I suppose, but not that much, you know. And I guess Ahsoka is busy, probably doing Fulcrum stuff, I guess is an excuse. And I mean, don't get me wrong, Ahsoka not being in the series, that's fine, that's whatever. Just a little this technically shouldn't be, this is a weird thing, right? And also I do like Leia being, so obviously Leia is 10 years old in this. So her being a little bit, so her not acting like the Leia of old, she's got all like the wit, but not necessarily the charm or the, I mean, I guess Leia was never like a super uptight, you know, hoity-toity princess, right? She was always a kind of down to, you know, she was always sort of the rebellious fighter type princess. If that's a type of princess, but you know, like, and I guess this is just her not being, I mean, she was always like, I mean, she's always a fighter, but not necessarily so hot-headed. I always felt like Luke was very hot-headed, whereas Leia was much more calm, but they were both very much willing to fight for what they believed in. And Leia is obviously, and I mean, as kids, they're probably more the same than they were as adults, which makes enough sense. I'm very curious to see what the second episode brings. The Inquisitors were interesting. I heard a friend just roughly mention that there was something about a death that shouldn't have happened. And, you know, oh, that's not a first for Star Wars, so you know how that goes. But interesting little side note, I suppose.